Okay, today I'm going to show you how to create a silhouette portrait in Photoshop. So we're going to jump into Classroom, and I want you to download a few things before we get started. So we're going to click on this add-on folder, and inside this folder we have some frames and some wallpaper and some accessories. To go back to the previous, I jumped into the wallpaper folder. To go back, you just click on add-ons and it'll take you back here. Some frames and some wallpaper. There are some accessories that's a little bit more advanced technique to add other things to it, so we're going to skip that. But we're going to use these two folders. So we're going to start by downloading a wallpaper. So go ahead and choose one. Please just limit yourself to these ones. I want them all to be consistent in look. Okay, so pick up a wallpaper to download. I'm going to use this one. So to download it, you click on the three dots and you hit download. It's going to save to your download folder on your computer. I'm going to jump back to the add-on folder, and I'm going to go to my frames, and then I'm going to download this one. So click on the three dots and hit download. Okay, now I'm going to jump to Photoshop, and this is assuming that you have already uploaded your photo into your computer or you have it ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and open it. So to open it, I'm going to go to open, and you're going to look for either your flash, your SD card, or if you've already put it in your Google Drive, you can locate it. So I'm going to click on my image and I'm going to hit open. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to select our subject. Okay, so we need to make sure that our toolbar is open, our layer panel is open, and our option bar is open up here. If those things are not open, to find them in Photoshop, you're going to go to Window, make sure Layers is open, make sure the option bar is checked, and then make sure the toolbar is checked. Okay. Another thing you want to make sure in your toolbar is that you have all of these little arrows next to the majority of your tools. Okay, so if you click and hold this open, because we're going to use the object selection tool, you should have three options. If you are not seeing three options, you're going to click on these three little dots, and you might get another tool that pops up. Just click and hold it again, and then you want to look for Edit Toolbar. Okay, when you see Edit Toolbar, just hit Restore Defaults, and it'll restore your toolbar to its original thing. So just hit done. Okay, no, not everybody's going to have to do that. So you just want to make sure that you can see all three of these tools. Okay, all right, so we're going to use the object selection tool. So we're going to go ahead and click on that, and what we're going to do is anytime you have one of these three objects selected, you're going to get up here on the control bar, it says select subject and select and mask. We're going to click select subject, and what's going to happen is Photoshop is going to select your object or your person and put marching ants around the edges. Okay, so it should look something like this. All right, the next thing we're going to do is what is called refine the edges. So we're going to click select and mask. Okay, and then in here we're going to make a couple of adjustments. Now anytime you use this, there's no right or wrong number to put in here. You're just going to adjust it until it looks good. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to change your view mode from original to black and white. Okay, and you just drop down this arrow, so you click on the arrow and you hit black and white. This is just going to kind of give you an outline of what your design is going to look like. Okay, and then I'm going to just click off to the side to close it out, and then over here I'm going to bump this contrast all the way up. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is just smooth out some of these edges. I don't want to get rid of a whole bunch of detail, but just a little bit. Like I can see her eyelashes. You might not be able to see her eyelashes, and that's okay. But if I go all the way up, see what happens? It completely changes it, flattens it out, and that's really not what I want. So I just want to kind of smooth it out just a little bit. Okay, so just a little. And yours might not need that, and that's okay. But at least do the contrast for sure. The last thing you're going to do in this is going to go to scroll down and go to Output Settings and click on this arrow and drop it down. We are going to click where it says Output To. You're going to hit Selection to a new layer. Okay, and then you're going to hit OK. All right, so now that I have my new layer, I have 2 layers on my layer panel. We don't need to worry about this one anymore. We're gonna worry about this one. What we need to do is lock these transparent pixels that are outside of our picture. Okay, so I'm gonna jump back to my move tool just in case, just so I don't select anything. So we need to lock these transparent pixels, okay? And this is gonna be so nothing gets filled in that shouldn't be filled in. So what I'm gonna do is click right here, and I'm just gonna click it, and it put a little lock next to that image, okay? So this locked the outside of our selection. Then I'm gonna go up to Edit, and I'm gonna choose Fill. I'm gonna change my contents from foreground to black and leave everything else, and then hit OK. And what happened? It filled it in with black, okay? All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna clean this up just a little bit. We have to unlock it. So to unlock it, you can either click on the lock or you can click back on this little grid and it will unlock that layer. So when we come over here to our brush tool on the toolbar, and if you don't see it, click and hold it open. It should be the very first brush, okay? So, oh, I gotta change my brush. It's too big. Okay. So your brush tool is located right here on your toolbar. Oh, and something else I forgot to point out is if your toolbar looks like this, it's the same thing. Mine is just collapsed, okay? So you're just gonna have to find the tools that I'm talking about. All right, so your brush tool is right here. The letter B is a shortcut to bring it up. And I'm gonna show you a trick. So you can make your brush bigger or smaller by simply tapping the bracket keys on the keyboard. The bracket keys are to the right of the letter P on the keyboard. The left bracket, if you tap it, will make it smaller, and the right bracket will make it bigger, okay? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in and we're gonna clean this up a little bit. I'm gonna actually cut the bottom piece off of here because I don't want the whole thing. I just want like head and shoulders, okay? So what I'm gonna do is come in here and give it just a little, oops. Why am I'm sorry, I'm not using the brush tool. I'm using the eraser tool. My bad. Same thing. Okay, so the eraser tool is gonna actually erase things. And it's a brush as well. And bracket keys left and right will make it bigger and smaller. Left key will make it smaller, right key will make it bigger, okay? I apologize. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is kind of cut this bottom half off. I'm gonna give it a little swoop and then make my brush bigger and erase all of this. Okay, so I'm gonna click and hold, and while I'm clicking and holding, I'm just gonna go whoop. Let's kind of fix that just a little bit. Okay, so every time you use your brush or your eraser tool, you have to click it and hold it down in order for it to work, okay? So I'm clicking and I'm holding it down and it's erasing this piece, okay? That looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this thing because it looks so weird. It was her scarf. So I'm gonna just come in here and kind of clean this up. If you make a mistake and you don't like what you just did, Command Z on the keyboard is your undo button. Command Z will allow you to undo the last thing you just did. If you decide you want to keep what you just did and you undo it, Shift Command Z will redo, okay? And I'm gonna get rid of like this little piece right here. Okay, that looks good. Don't spend a whole lot of time on this. But some of you are wearing hoodies and you got a big like thing that looks like a hunchback. You might want to clean that up and get rid of it or whatever. Okay, so our silhouette is done. Perfect. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video and clean it up, do what you need to do, and then I'm going to move on. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new document. So to do that, I'm going to go to File up here at the top and go to New. And over here, I am going to name this my first initial, last name, _ silhouette. And I am going to size it. So I need to make sure I drop down this arrow first, and then I need to make sure that it's set to inches. I'm going to change the width to 5 and the height to 7. Everything else is going to stay defaulted, okay? And then I'm going to hit create. All right, so this is where we're going to add our wallpaper and our frame and then drop in our silhouette. Okay, so to add our wallpaper, I'm going to place it in here. So I'm going to go to File, Place Embedded. I'm looking in my download folder because that's where I saved it. I'm going to click on my wallpaper, and I'm just going to actually, I'm going to hold Shift. You might not have to hold Shift. If you don't have to, that's fine. But you don't want to like stretch it out because that looks funny, right? So to constrain the properties, you might have to hold the Shift key. Okay, go ahead and go beyond the artboard. Not really concerned about what's outside of here. And then I'm going to hit Enter or Return on the keyboard or this check mark up here to commit that transformation. Okay. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my frame. So I'm going to open up my frame all by itself first. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to go to File, Open, and I'm going to click on my frame. I can either double click or hit the Open button. And then I'm going to select it. So the same tool that we used, this one, the Object Selection tool, for our person, we're going to use for our frame. But instead of clicking Select Subject, we're going to click and drag across this frame. Okay, the first one. I'm going to let go, and I should have marching ants all the way around it. I am going to copy this selection, so I'm going to do Command C to copy. And then I'm going to go back up here, and if I click, I can click through each tab. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this one where I put my wallpaper, and I'm going to do Command V as in Victor to paste. And that's going to paste my frame right in here. I'm going to make sure I'm on my move tool, and I'm going to go ahead and stretch this out. So I'm going to hold the Shift key because I want it to constrain that size. I want it to stay about the same dimensions. And then I'm going to put it right at the edge. So I'm taking up as much room as possible, okay? So it should look just like this. And then I'm gonna hit Return or Enter to commit that transformation. Now I need to get rid of this center piece, okay? So what I'm gonna do is click and hold my Object Selection tool again. This time I'm gonna click on my magic wand, okay? So magic wand. I'm gonna just click one time inside the white, and it should make your selection. You should see it's selected everything. Now if it doesn't select everything, what you're gonna do is you're gonna hit deselect. So let's say, I don't know, it just selects some weird random shape or piece. Just click in there again. Most of the pixels are white, so it should select everything, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and hit delete, and it will delete those pixels. Now I need to deselect, so I still have those marching ants. I need to hit the deselect button here or Command D as in David on my keyboard, and that will deselect.
Good morning, Cougars. Sorry for the interruption. Today is Cougars United. If you received
Sorry, they're doing an announcement and I couldn't jump in to pause it. Okay, so there is my selection in my frame. Now I'm going to jump over to back to my silhouette picture. And here I'm going to click on my person and go back to my move tool. I'm going to select it and do Command C to copy again. Go back here to this tab and Command V as in Victor to paste. And I'm going to stretch this out to fit inside my frame. Hit Return or Enter, and or the check mark up at the top. And there is my silhouette portrait. All right, to save this up, now I have 4 layers. I don't need to worry about this background layer. I have 3 layers that are actually doing something here. I'm going to go ahead and save this and export it as a JPEG file and turn them into Google Classroom. So to save it, I'm going to go to File, Save As, Make sure it's named properly. I'm going to select my Google Drive. I'm going to click on My Drive, and I'm going to find my photo class folder where you save your photos for this class. I'm going to scroll down and find it, and it's right here. And then I am going to hit save. And the next thing I'm going to do is export it as a JPEG. So File, Export, Export As. Make sure your format right here says JPEG or JPG, and then hit Export. Now I need to go find that folder again, so a fast way to find it would be to click here on your downloads. And if yours looks like this, if you click this little button right here, it will expand it, okay? So click on downloads, and then I should be able to find that folder I just saved it in, and then hit export. And now it's ready to turn into Google Classroom.